Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, reviewing Ready to Love, Make a Move Season 1, Episode 2. If you're wondering where the review for Episode 1 is, it was in a live. So if you wanted to know my thoughts about that, it's over there. But we're going to start the actual video reviews from Episode 2. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So last week, the singles got to pick their own dates. However, this week, Tamika, the matchmaker, is doing the picking. So on the dates, we have Zadia with Cameron, Charisse with Maurice, Vernisha with Ramon, and Ashley with Marcus. So on Zadia's date, you could tell immediately she was a lot more talkative on this date. But me personally, something about her date, who was it, Marcus? No. Wasn't it Cameron? Something about Cameron was a little bit sus to me. Like, I know that he was excited that they had a lot of commonalities, being from the same place, potentially going to the same school, all this kind of stuff. But the way that he was just so excited, he was like, oh, me too. You did, oh, me too. I was like, okay.
I'm from Atlanta.
What?
Yeah. I transferred to University of Houston, so that's where I finished.
I went to U of H. I started the photography business my second year of pharmacy school. My passions are business and investing.
Jobs on jobs on jobs, and wait a minute, one more job after that. You gonna make time for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I will.
Cameron has a lot of businesses, and she acknowledges that, you know, he has his hands full, but she asked him, are you able to make time for me? He says that he is. I don't know how feasible that's going to be, because if he had a 1 job, 2 job, kid, 3 job, all right, this man got damn near 17. So I want to know about his past, which is going to be a thing later on in the episode, because have your past relationships suffered at the fact that you were so career focused? You know, he does say he knows that love requires that dedicated time, so he will be able to separate his work and his love life. Okay. She also said her love language is money. So there's that. The next date is between Ashley and Marcus. It was a more active date. They went bike riding, and she hasn't been bike riding since he was a kid. She did all right.
You good, right?
I can't do
This is a vintage. Yes, you can. Let's go.
it. The handlebars are too far from my arm. Ooh.
I saw it pop in the yellow, or the old gold. Bow.
Does not pay attention to detail.
I think that it was cute that they did an active date, but the actual talking portion of the date, I got nothing. The only thing I noted down is that they both love kids, and that was it. I felt like she had a lot more energy, a lot more compatibility with her date from last week. With Marcus, I feel like maybe, I don't know, like how could he have elevated this date? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, all these dates this week to me were very boring. Speaking of boring, literally in my notes, it says Vern's date Ramon was boring.
Just retired playing pro basketball. Probably a year and a half.
Okay.
France, Finland, Sweden.
Very well traveled.
Talked to my mom before. We'll talk to my mom after and tell her everything went. I should listen to my mom's advice. I was going to bring some flowers.
You should have.
Yeah.
When the man said his last relationship was in 2008, I audibly gasped. And then it made sense to me. I said, okay, maybe he hasn't had much experience having to woo a woman. Now, I don't know if in all those years he had some experience with entanglements, situationships, whatever it may be. But last relationship being when you were 21, it shows. It kind of does show. And then this man is going to say he's basically a mama's boy. I don't know. For me, it would be a wrap on Ramon. I needed more flirtiness. I needed more initiative. I needed more. And he gave me nothing. Speaking of giving us nothing, guys, these dates this week were just horrible. Charisse was on a date with Maurice, and she has finally found somebody who matched her energy. Zero. There was zero energy on this. It was so boring.
I like going out to dinner, traveling, meeting people.
That's very important to me because I don't want to be with a guy who's not social. That right there, I was like, this is a class act. Do you work out?
Of course.
Like, I'm here to get to know someone, and you can't get to know anyone by just looking at them.
If I had to pick out things from this date, I definitely love that he brought flowers, and it wasn't just your typical, let me go to the drugstore across the street and get a random pack of roses. Like, it looked like a classy bouquet of flowers. It was very nice. Then things went downhill. They couldn't find things to talk about anymore. She had an issue with the fact that he is a divorcee with 4 kids. Charisse, let's be all the way for real. At your big age, it'll be likely that you're dating people who are in their 30s, who were in their 40s and 50s. The likelihood of them not having children and not being previously married is slim to none. You gotta get used to that, or drop your age bracket down. Problem is, your date from last week was in his late 30s. You didn't like that. So what struggle do you want? Do you want to date younger men who are likely going to not have as many kids or not have kids at all and maybe not be divorced? Or do you want men in your age bracket who are likely going to have children and going to have previous relationships, some of which are going to be marriages? Like, Charisse, you're a big woman, you're a smart woman, let's use our brain. It's time for them to reconvene with the matchmaker, Tamika, and she asks if they have established some house rules. I cannot speak today. If they have established some I'm actually tripping. If they have established some house rules, and there's this disagreement about whether or not men should be allowed to come over, and for whatever reason, Zadia felt like she needed to lie about what's been going on.
I said, I don't want any dudes coming to this house that I'm staying in that I don't know.
I immediately say, okay. I was in my room. I was in my room.
I too was in my room.
Well, I went for a walk this morning and I got locked out.
Well, why didn't you just say that? We know you lying, baby, but you put your foot on the gas all the way down.
Honestly, living in a house full of women, I wouldn't be surprised if other men came over. Honestly, it doesn't even matter the age that you were at. When I was in university, I lived in we lived in a 5-bedroom home, but there were like 7 women living there, and men, in and out, honey, in and out. My only rule was do not come in my personal space. If he is at your room, he's going to your bathroom. He's staying in your room or maybe in the common area. He's not coming into my personal space, okay? To me, grown women, I would expect the rules to be kind of similar. Like, how are you going to police me on who I can have around, especially if it is men in the experiment, okay? Me personally, I feel like if we are trusting these people on how they've vetted the contestants, I shouldn't, even though you probably should with this whole ready to love and their lack of vetting, I shouldn't be afraid to have a guy over like in the evening. Maybe what I would say in terms of setting rules that make more sense would be definitely only stay in the common areas or have a curfew. You can be over, but as soon as 11 o'clock hits, 12 o'clock, you gotta be out. You gotta be out. So anyways, as they're talking, the issue wasn't the fact that there were men over. The issue was the fact that Charisse was woken up by Zadia because Zadia went to spend time with a man. Well, I guess we gotta say allegedly she went to spend time with him because Zadia, she just doesn't want to fess up. And I'm like, you're not a child. Like, you're a grown woman. What are they gonna do? Beat you? No. Like, why are we lying? Why are we lying? Anyways, it comes time for the women to make a decision between the men that they went on a date with this week or the men that they chose the first week. Ashley chose to dump Marcus and keep Donald. Donald is the guy from last week. Zadia dumped Jabari, the guy from last week, and kept Cameron, even though he was being cagey about his past relationships. Basically, she said that's something that I would like to know more about, and his response was basically, it's not your business. There are things that I've learned from those relationships that are just for me to know and for you to just be told about, like if I want to, but I don't have to. To me, that's an amber flag. Definitely an amber flag. We have Charisse, who dumped Antonio from last week and kept Maurice, but she said that her only issues with him was the fact that he was a divorcee and has 4 kids. I think that she should have brought up the awkwardness on the date because in his perception, the date was fantastic. They're super compatible. The conversation flowed, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's an interesting takeaway. And then last was Vernisha, who dumped Ramon from this week and kept Jabari, which I approve of as well. So earlier when the men had come over, Charisse wanted to get to the bottom of this whole Zadia Cameron, did they spend time together thing. So she goes and talks to Cameron. However, Zadia cut the conversation short. So after the men have now left, Charisse wants to bring it back up again.
I mean, I have fun with Cameron.
I enjoy talking to him so much.
She's using this moment to try to start some type of trouble with me.
Immediately, when you said you were not okay with it, I said, okay.
Oh, now you're gonna admit it. Can you come open the door? You didn't say, I'm sorry for waking you up. I'm barely awoke.
Automatically
I was asleep.
apologize. So now all of a sudden we're bumping heads left and right, and that's not the
for the way
case.
you come up.
This whole thing stemmed from the fact that Zadia asked if men can be over. Charisse wasn't okay with that, but then Zadia didn't have him over. She left to be with him. And then I guess called Charisse. Charisse wasn't happy at the fact that she was woken up. This whole being woken up thing has really, really pissed her off. Like the conversation actually got super heated. They were yelling at each other. And I'm like, all this over a wake up call? Charisse said that she felt very uncomfortable the night before and wanted to leave. Something more must have happened. Something more, because it can't be the fact that you were woken up in the morning that just made you this mad. I don't know. And honestly, maybe the men should be able to come over at the house and see you in a more natural environment to see how y'all be acting. Because this is how y'all are acting? Nah, if I was a man trying to date these women, I would be concerned. The conflict resolution among this group of women is... Nah, it's not there. Charisse says that Zadia lacks self-awareness. I think that Charisse herself also lacks self-awareness. I don't know if they're going to squash this. It seems like it's coming up in the next episode as well. It's weird. Y'all too grown to be fighting over this stupid kind of stuff, you know? Anyways, that's all I got for you guys this week. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you're feeling the show or not, because I was liking the first episode, but now the second episode has kind of put me off. Just a little bit, not gonna lie, but we'll see. We'll see if we'll hang in there. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.